Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, guys, for the great intro. Like I said, my name is Brad Heller. I'm here with my co-founder, Clifton, and I'm really excited to tell you guys the story of Revisu. But before we do that, I need to deliver a little bit of bad news to you guys. I hate to tell you this, but creative teams are really frustrated by working with you and me. Now, don't worry. It's not really anybody's fault necessarily. It just stems from the fact that creative teams value different things than you and I. And what they care about is creativity. And at Revisu, we care about letting creative teams be creative. That means we find the uncreative components of their project workflow, and we minimize them so they can focus their energy on their creativity. And one of the most uncreative components that we've identified comes from the tools that we choose to communicate with them over. We use email and Basecamp, Microsoft Word and Excel, flat, text-based channels to communicate about rich, robust, emotional design. The craziest story we heard was a team that had a client that would print a design, mark it up with Sharpies, and then fax it back to them. That sounds absolutely insane to me. I don't even own a fax machine. I haven't worked at a business that had a fax machine in years, I don't think. And look at all the text that's happening here. Look at all the communication. How would you know that this is what they're talking about? How difficult do you think it would be to capture how the slight yellow gradient in the word stay makes you feel? Or the reflection on the bottom of the cloud, how it's somewhat inset? How difficult do you think it would be to put that into an email and explain that to somebody? How difficult do you think it would be to be on the other side of the table and receive that email and understand what they mean? So we have a solution to this problem. But before we talk about that, let's talk about who cares. Designers care. They're so excited when we tell them this is a problem we're solving. They're dying for a solution to it. Businesses care. Did you know that $350 billion in revenue was generated by the creative services industry last year? $2 billion in Portland alone was generated by the creative services teams here. And finally, you should care because creative is giving businesses a competitive edge in the marketplace. You already know that, though, because startups are launching every day with the same feature set as their competitors, but better creative, and they're winning in the end. The team we put together not only understands the creative space and loves creatives, but also understands this pain really well. In fact, Revisu is born out of pain that my partner Clifton and I felt when we worked for another Portland startup called About Us. Clifton also identified this pain when he was a freelance designer, and I've identified this pain as well from the other side of the table as a freelance developer. At every organization I've worked for, About Us, WebMD, Jive Software, I've seen creative teams struggle with this problem. The advisors that we've put together to build this business have been absolutely critical to making Revisu what it is today. I've had so much fun working with them over the past 4 months, and I'm really excited to be working with them in the future. Their fingerprints are all over our core DNA, and I think that's just awesome. What we've done is created the delightfully simple, creative process management tool. With Revisu, creative teams can engage each other and their clients at any point during the creative process to share their work and get feedback. But it's important to note that Revisu is not a project management tool. With Revisu, it enhances existing project management software like Basecamp by feeding data back to it. So I'm extremely excited to show you guys Revisu today. But before I do that, I want to introduce a good buddy of mine named Joe. Joe is a local designer. He's actually been working with us on some of the visual assets for Revisu. He's done some work, and he wants to show it to us. So naturally, he's going to use Revisu to do so. So he goes to Revisu and logs in with his Revisu account. And he selects the Revisu redesign project. And the first thing he wants to do is upload a new set of wireframes he created. So he uses the file uploader to upload a multi-page PDF file. Notice that he doesn't have to do anything crazy. He just gives us his native PDF file. Revisu will take that file and render it in a way that we'll be able to view on the web. In fact, it'll give him a nice little preview of what it's going to look like when we come to review it. And then it'll automatically notify your team. The next thing that he wants to do while he's here is upload the latest revision of the Revisu logo. So he selects the Revisu logo design. And this is the first version that he uploaded for us. As you can see, for obvious reasons, we weren't super happy with it. So he went and iterated on the color palette and we got something a little bit nicer. But we wanted something a little bit more modern. So he went and did some designer magic, and now he's ready to show us what he did. So he uploads a new revision, and Revisu attaches it as a new revision to the existing design. This is great, but he wants to get official sign-off. So he clicks the team approval button, and he selects the people who are responsible for giving, well, our official approval on the project. So that's two really basic scenarios for Revisu from a product perspective. Let's talk about Revisu as a business for a little bit. So Revisu exists and plays in a $350 billion creative services space, but dollars from the project lifecycle management and creative tool space actually go to paying for Revisu. This is awesome, because project lifecycle management is a great space for startups. It's huge. $25 billion annually is spent on project lifecycle management software, but no single player owns the space because niche consumers are hungry for niche solutions to their niche problems. That means that we can make serious innovations to make our customers really, really happy. If you stack Revisu up next to our direct competition, you'll see that we take a little bit different approach to how we address the problem than them. We focus more on the entire creative process and less specifically on the design review portion. And again, on the other end of the spectrum, we're not project management. We make existing project management software like Basecamp better by feeding the data that it's responsible for back to it. We've also found that freelancers and independent designers actually bring Revisu to the agencies and firms that they work for. This is awesome. It makes Revisu essentially the perfect freemium product. Our goal is to online as many freelancers as we can, and then the viral loops that we've built into Revisu continue our growth for us from there. We've projected that we can build a really great business in addressing the small to medium agency market. Do you know there's 120 agencies in Portland alone? So we have high hopes for that space, but there's also huge opportunities available in the enterprise world. So we want to get to that as quickly as we possibly can. We also think that Revisu makes a lot of sense being part of another larger company's existing product offerings. In fact, we've already started having talks with some of the names on the slide about aligning our product with theirs. So, where are we? 4 months ago, Revisu was just a concept. 2 months ago, we launched an MVP to test Revisu against the market. And 1 month ago, we started seeing freelancers actually using Revisu with their clients. And today, I'm really happy to announce that Grady Britton, a local ad agency, has actually agreed to be the first official Revisu customer. So we're super stoked about that. So we've got a product on the market. We've got great traction in the freelancer market. We've got our first paying customer. We've got a team that is capital efficient and has proven that they can build stuff. And we have a great list of advisors. And we're at the bottom of our growth curve. We're raising $300,000 of convertible debt, a portion of which is already committed, to take us to the next level. Again, my name is Brad Heller. I'm with Revisu. Please come find me after the presentation.